Today on Pro Church Daily, we're talking about my 7 best performing email subject lines of 2018.
Well, hey there, and welcome to Pro Church Daily. This is the show where in 10 minutes or less, you're going to get your daily dose of tips and tactics to help your church share the message of Jesus while we navigate the biggest communication shift that we've seen in the last 500 years. I'm your host, Alex Mills. I'm joined as always by the boss man, it's Brady Shearer, and today we're going to talk about Brady's 7 best performing email subject lines of 2018.
Email is still, in our opinion, the second most important platform for your church to be leveraging on digital, second only to your church's actual website.
Of course.
Email is the most widely used digital platform, even more than all the social platforms. And we use email as the primary strategy of communicating with Pro Church Daily, even with the advent of our daily YouTube content. And we're very active on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yeah.
And of course, we have our own website and our own products. Well, so much of it is built around email. And so I took inventory of all the email campaigns that we've sent over the last year, and I took out 7 of the best performing subject lines to share with Pro Church Nation on this episode of Pro Church Daily.
There you go.
And hopefully we're going to do some takeaways of why we think these performed best, inspire you when it comes to the emails that you're sending out for your own church, and also just to reiterate the importance of subject lines.
Yeah.
Because before you can ever get someone to read the content of your email, before you can get them to take a next step and click on a link within the email, they have to open it. And so much of the open is dictated by the subject line. Does it pique the interest, the curiosity enough for them to click open rather than just swipe away or click that checkbox and then the trash bin icon?
Yeah, and email's so unique to other social platforms because with Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, the algorithms are always changing. You never know who's going to see what. But with email, depending on the size of your email list, you know that when you click send, who it's being delivered to, and you have this one point of entry. It's the subject line. This is your opportunity. You know your people are going to see it. This is the gateway. This is the call to action. This is the only thing that's going to get people to click. And sometimes, I know in my own experience, I've overlooked the subject line. And in the process of sending out more emails and learning about this stuff, I've realized, like, man, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't compel people with the subject line, you're never going to get them to open the email.
You worked so hard on the email.
Yeah.
And then you gave it like newsletter,
Yes.
January 17th. I mean,
Not
come on.
opening
You're
that. I'm
shooting
swiping
yourself
away
in the
from
foot. That's a
that. Yeah.
swipe hard.
Yeah.
Okay. 7 best performing email subject lines. For context, we have an email list that these were sent out over the course of a year. Let's say on average 30,000.
Okay.
And so our open rates might be lower than yours. You know, a lot of churches with only a couple hundred on the list might see open rates as high as 50%.
Yeah.
You know, a good benchmark for us would be 30. A very good email would be 30. All of these surpassed that. Example number 1. The subject line was just one word. That word was embarrassing.
Nice.
It got a 39.47% open rate. I think it was the highest open rate we got that year.
Okay.
And of course, the foundational psychological principle that caused people to open that is someone else got embarrassed.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
It's curiosity. And people want to know what was embarrassing. And I think we sent this email out during one of our launch weeks. We had like a technical error, and I was just sending out an email. It said something like, well, that didn't go according to plan.
Yeah.
And people loved it.
Yeah.
Go
Curiosity,
ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but curiosity is probably the top of my list for what's going to get me to click through and open an email, to be curious for what's on the other side. That one always gets me.
We had this happen in our office the other day. Someone on their computer was watching a very disgusting video
Right.
of violent proportions, I believe. And I was not going to be looking at that because I didn't need to be mortified. But the whole office was saying to the rest of the office, do not come over here.
Yeah.
Do not look at this. And that piqued the curiosity
Of
so
course.
much of the other side of the office. They're like, I got to see it.
I don't want to, but I have to.
They couldn't stop
Yeah.
their own curiosity.
Yeah.
Example number 2. This was an accident. I just sent out an email without a subject line. I've never done it before.
Right.
I don't know what got into me. I sent it out, and everyone opened it
Right.
because they're like, wait, what was this?
Well, this one works for your email list because you have crafted great subject lines for so long that people are just conditioned to that. And when they see one, it happened to me. I saw it come to my personal email. I'm like, did he do this on purpose? Like,
I got to know.
Yeah.
And again, curiosity is the psychological principle that's
Yeah.
triggering that open as
So
well.
you did it by accident, but maybe somebody else should do it on purpose?
Did I do it by accident?
We'll never know.
33.51% open rate.
Nice.
Example number 3. Pastors are too old.
Yeah.
33.9% open rate. This is the controversial headline. People are clicking and opening that, maybe already a little bit charged up, going, what does he mean by that?
Right.
And you want to use these headlines very scarcely,
Right.
because you don't want to overdo it and become one of those news sites that's just being provocative for the sake of being provocative,
Yeah.
as so much of our mainstream media does. This is a great way to earn clicks, opens, and eyeballs on your content. It's probably not worth it very often. So do it scarcely and do it with a purpose.
Yeah, you don't want to, adopt this kind of language, like this like hyperbolic language. And so every time, like you said, it kind of loses its luster. People get desensitized to it if you use it too often. But this one will get me clicking probably.
That's why the majority of the content that we send out, our subject lines, are lists and are curiosity, because those you can do at scale and you don't wear that out.
Right.
But you can wear out the psychological trigger of controversy, and people just start to go, okay, this is just outrage, culture, and I'm not here for that.
Yeah.
Example number 4, 7 things millennials don't care about in your church. This had a 37.3% open rate, and we haven't talked too much about click. This one was our best click, 10.83% click.
Nice.
A good click rate for us is probably 3 to 5. That's thousands of people.
Right.
This was thousands and thousands of people,
Right.
10%. So that just goes to show the email I wrote was great, but also that the subject line pertained so well to what people wanted to know that they couldn't stop the click. That's a 33% conversion rate almost from the click and the open. And that's a list post. We do this so much because it's matter of fact, it's just to the point, and you have an expectation when you're opening it. Okay, there's going to be a list either in this email or linked in this email to 7 things. I know exactly what I'm going to expect. And what these are good at, kind of the opposite of curiosity, is like you're making a promise. And so there's no curiosity except people want to know what the list is, but there's no bait and switch at all. And so people feel a little bit more like, oh, I can trust this. I know what he's promising. I know what she's promising. I can click on it.
Right. Hit me with the next one.
Example number 5, a gift from me to you, 34.85% open rate. This had a freebie inside. Why do people open it? We like free stuff and a little bit of curiosity. What is the free thing?
Yeah, exactly. I've used this a couple times at church, and it always performs really well.
Example number 6, the easiest lighting setup I've ever used, 32.8% open rate. And this one actually surprised me because I don't even feel like it's that good of a subject line.
Right.
It could be that the actual content is very conducive to Pro Church Nation and they wanted to know about lighting.
Yep.
I don't talk about this being a video lighting setup, so it could mean lighting in any context, which has a pretty far, wide reach within the church context. But also it talks about something being easy, and lighting is traditionally difficult.
Right.
And so if you take something that's normally difficult and you talk about it in an easy way,
Exactly.
like one that I would open so easily, it's like the only 3 things you need to do to get the perfect lawn this summer.
Yeah.
Please tell me, because
Yeah,
I feel like I'm doing a million things and none of them work.
I need that perfect lawn. Yeah, this one would get me too because like you said, lighting is inherently believed to be difficult. And so everyone has that kind of preconceived notion. And so if I see that subject line, it's like, oh, if I click this, what I think is difficult is going to be made easy for me. And especially in the church world, a lot of us are trying to do DIY things and trying to do things that we're not generally, qualified to do, and trying to figure out things at low budget and low cost. And so these kind of subject lines for churches are really helpful.
Final subject line. Best performing of 2018 for us. How to 27x your organic reach on Facebook. It had a 30.11% open rate. And of course, the idea behind this is the how-to. Kind of what you just said.
Yep.
The DIY. We're going to take something that you might think is difficult, and we're going to break down exactly how to do it. The beginner's guide, the starter's guide. And the fundamental principles behind all of these subject lines. We've got curiosity, we've got controversy, we've got lists, freebies, easy, how-to. All of these are not just applicable to our own Pro Church Tools business,
Right.
but also to your church world, in your church context, because they all are built on foundational principles and triggers, psychological triggers that apply to every human.
Right. And this stuff isn't too hard. It may sound like a lot. You don't know where to start. Do I start with curiosity? Do I start with controversy? Where do I even begin? But
I know where to start. Just send an email without a subject line.
Yeah, exactly. No, but once you get in the habit of speaking this way and thinking this way, especially after you've written the body copy of your email, you'll condition yourself to be able to think in a way. How can I summarize this in a curious way to get people clicking through? And it does become much easier.
One way to expedite your training process in this is to write 2 email subject lines
Yeah.
every single time. A/B test them both. All mail platforms like MailChimp, ActiveCampaign can do this, and you'll be quickly learning, oh, this one performed better than this.
Right.
And you'll learn on the fly.
There you go.
That'll do it for this episode of Pro Church Daily. We'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks for watching today's episode of Pro Church Daily. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss another video.
And I know you like this one, so why don't you tell us? Hit it with a thumbs up and like it, like it, like it, like it.
See you tomorrow!